Hello and welcome to another tutorial on how to make Minecraft in Flash. Now, unfortunately, this is going to be the last tutorial on how to make Minecraft in Flash. I think you guys can be on your own to make your own new blocks and new features of the game. So you guys are awesome like that, right? Okay, so I've been asked a lot how to make mines. So I'll show you how to do that right now. Now where we want to make mines in our script isn't while we're making the world left to right, but is right after we make the world, right before we make bedrock. So we'll copy over this script right here and paste it back here. Now I just copied that script because it's easy to copy the for loop. Doesn't need to change much. So in order to make a mine, we need to first pick a random spot in the world. So we'll say spot x equals, and then the x value, we'll pick a random number from all the x values in the world. So random world width. Is the y value? We'll just pick a random number from 0 to 30. So we picked a random spot in a world. Now we need to carve it out in a cave. So what we'll do is we'll say scene, and then we'll use our spot x and spot y we just put in our script. Now we'll use that spot in our world. We'll destroy it. We just made it undefined. So now what you'll see when we load our world is that there's random carvings out of our world. There's some over there too. But we don't want them just to be one block wide caves, right? So what we need to do is we need to make it a little bit more random. So guess what I'm gonna do? I am going to copy this for loop again. Let's put it inside of this for loop. Now it'll cause problems if we have a for loop like that with the same variable. If there's a for loop inside of a for loop, you have to know to put a different variable. So let's just use j, the next variable after I. So now what we'll do is we'll carve out an area around the mine. So let's say this is our world. Okay, there's our world. Now this is the block that we took a mine out, so we'll call this M for mine. Now, we want to pick a random number out of all these blocks to destroy, and eventually we'll end up having a mine. Not a little mine, a big mine. And so we'll end up having a cave like that. So what we need to do is we need to pick a random number around the spot. Right there. Now here's a trick for random numbers that go both left and right. You say plus, you pick a random number, and then you pick the number. So let's say we wanted to go left 3 and right 3. What we do is we take the number 3, we times it by 2, and we minus 1, or plus 1, sorry, and we'll get the number 7. So we take that and we'll make it, and we'll put it inside of the random function. And after we do that, we subtract the first number we had, subtract 3. And what that will give us is a random number both left 3 and right 3 in our world. Now if you want to use that trick for anything else, it's pretty useful. Say if you wanted to go both left and right 5, you do random, then you take 5, times it by 2, and add 1, 11, minus 5. And that's just to pick a random number left or right, a certain amount of numbers. Okay, Now that we have that, let's test it. Oh, there's our mine. Our really crazy, destructive mines. Okay. Well, that's progress, isn't it? Now it might be a little crazy right now. That's probably because we have 50 mines throughout the world. Let's change that to maybe 30. Let's try that now. Okay, there's a better mine. They're still a little bit destructive though. It doesn't look fancy anymore. Like a pretty world like it used to. So I think that our spot Y might be a little too high up. Our mines might be a little too high. So let's make them 20. Let's try that. There we have it. That's a better mine, and we still didn't destroy the world. Look at this mine. Jeez. How about 15? Okay, now that we have mines, let's continue to something else. Now, look at this. Press play. 1, 2, 3. It takes about 3 seconds of wait time, probably more for different computers. So that wait time might be annoying for some people playing your game. So let's make a quick loading screen. So let's make a new layer, and right before the render screen, right there, we'll put a loading screen. So we'll turn the screen black, so we'll make our fill color black, and our line color, we don't even need a line. So we'll fill the entire screen black with our box that I picked, and then we'll take our text box, and we'll say loading. I'm gonna turn it white and center on the screen. So there's our loading screen. Let's make it a movie clip. Select it all, F8. Loading the screen. Now the reason I put it here is because if it was here, then the script would already be finished before it can load. So we'll put it here so the screen will appear first. Okay, let's click on the loading screen and give it an instance name, loading screen. There. Actions. Let's go back to our actions now. Now, what do we want it to do? Well, we want it to stop on the first, we want to stop when it's like that, right? But when it's done generating the world, after it renders the blocks, we want to turn it invisible. So we'll say loading screen dot underscore alpha, that's its transparency, equals 0. So we'll say loading, but when it's done, it'll disappear. Pretty cool. So it looks like the mines are being havoc. So let's make 20 mines around the world. That's a lot of mines. Well, here's our world now. Looks really good. Now, since this is the last episode, I'm going to do one more thing. How about I make it so that your character can go through trees and any other block you want. So let's quickly make let's quickly make an object that contains all of the blocks you want to be able to go through, to walk through. And this is called an object. So let's say walk through blocks equals a new object. Okay? It's variable. Okay. Actually, all these should normally be variable. It's good to practice good scripting. Just put var in front of it. You don't really need it, but it's good to put it. So, when we want to put another block in our walkthrough blocks, we say walk through blocks. We put a square bracket, and inside of there we put the block name. So, leaves is one of the blocks we want to go through. Leaves. Walk through blocks, leaves, equals, let's just put leaves again. Oops, I didn't mean to put that bracket. Then we'll copy that again, and we'll do the same thing for wood, for the trees. Wood. Okay, now what we need to do is how about we also make cactuses invisible, walk through able. So we named it cacti. So I'll put walk through blocks cacti equals cacti. Okay, so those are the 3 walk through blocks that we want. Now let's go to our character. Oh yeah, if you want to hide the loading bar or loading screen while you're working on your game, just press that button right there with under the eye. Okay, double click on the world and then click on your character and you're in its script. Now this right around here is where we're going to put the walkthrough block script. So, oh yeah, another thing, we can make this even more simpler if we say walkthrough blocks undefined equals, I'm gonna make these all true. Just makes it a whole lot easier to understand. Okay, leaves is a walkthrough block, wood is a walkthrough block, cactus is a walkthrough block, undefined, which is air, is also a walkthrough block. Let's see if this works. Let's go to our character script again. And what we'll say is if the current block, this is the current block script right here. Now, this one is the block you're standing on. So if root dot walkthrough blocks, we'll take that block and give it to the block walkthrough blocks. And if that is undefined, then do that. Okay. Now I'm gonna copy that script down here on before all of these right here, like that. And at the end of each of those, you put a square bracket just to close off the bracket, and change all the does not equal all to equal signs. So what we get when we load the world is that trees are you can walk through them. I'm hiding behind a tree. Don't you think that's weird? Well, let's fix that too. One line of script. On every frame, all we do is say swap depths parent dot get next highest depth right there. So what that will do is make it go on top of everything else, just to make it look better. See? Well, I think that concludes our series on how to make Minecraft in Flash. Now, again, I'd really like to see how your guys' games turn out. So, if you come up with a really cool game made by my script, then send it to me as a video response or any other way, I guess. And I'd like to see how your game turns out. Happy scripting! Bye!